Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga. This is soft flow yoga. It's a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. So in our class today, we're going to focus on core conditioning. There's a lot of great postures that can help you to build endurance, strength in your core, in your torso. So we're going to tone it down a little bit for our soft flow class. And I'm going to give you some really good exercises and movements that will help strengthen your core system. So of course we like to use props, so I encourage you to get a nice soft blanket or towel that you can fold up to sit on or kneel on. And then our yoga blocks that we like to use. A couple of yoga blocks or some hardbound books. This could also be some soft, small pillows from your sofa, for example. That works just fine. And then just an option, maybe just a big pillow or cushion. This is my yoga bolster. Sometimes I like to use this, and sometimes it just stays over here, but it's here just in case. So let's start in seated. So I invite you to find a comfortable seat. Go ahead and sit on your folded blanket or towel or up on a nice soft pillow. And just make sure you are sitting tall with a lengthened spine, maybe a quick roll of your shoulders, and be sure they're nicely relaxed. Your hands can just rest in your lap for a few moments as we begin our practice together. First, we like to tune into breath. So perhaps take a nice full breath in. You can breathe in through your nose. You can exhale through your nose or out through your mouth with a soft sigh. And do that again. A nice full breath in and exhale. Then just settle into slow, easy breathing. Just keep your focus on the breath, being sure that you can feel your breath and hear the sound of your breath. This is our moment of quiet meditation, just to get focused and centered, fully arriving, preparing for your practice. Feel free to keep your eyes opened if you like, and if they are opened, just take a soft gaze forward or even down at the floor, or you can close your eyes. Listen to the sound of your breath. Very good. Let's keep focus on the breath, because breathing is going to really help with our core system. So before we get into any movement, let's do a little pranayama. Pranayama is just breath control or breathing exercises, which is actually a yoga practice. And so the way that I'm going to be teaching you is going to be very helpful and efficient in our core conditioning practice. So we're going to practice what's called ujjayi breathing. Ujjayi, which means victorious breath. I like to also say vibrant and energetic breath. And there's a kind of a dichotomy with that style of breathing, because yes, it does give you energy, but it also calms you at the same time. Especially if you start to breathe slower with this method, it has a sense of calming. So we're going to do a couple of things first to get you aware of how not to breathe. That's actually, I should say, that's not ujjayi, and then that helps us get prepared for the ujjayi pranayama. So first, just breathe in and out through your nostrils, really just nostril breathing. Just kind of sniff in and blow out through the nose. And just imagine maybe you're smelling a flower. You just want to just pull in that wonderful fragrance. And then exhale, just a little push through the nostrils. So of course that's nose breathing or nostril breathing. And of course air is going in and out through the nose when you breathe like that. Next, go ahead and open your mouth, and open it kind of wide, and breathe in as if you're gasping for breath in slow motion. And then when you exhale, imagine you've got a mirror in front of your face and you're trying to fog the mirror. Again, breathing in, slow motion gasp, and exhale. Keep breathing like that, mouth opened, breathing out. You'll feel that push and pull effort as you breathe in and out, noticing it's the muscles of your throat that kind of give you that action. Alrighty? Now we're ready for ujjayi. So keeping mouth open, you're going to breathe in Feel how that works. Exhale, mouth open. Now for this next breath, close your mouth, but try to breathe in the same fashion as if you were breathing with your mouth opened. Same sensation in the throat, that push and pull action, but the air is moving through your nose. But it's not nose breathing. This is what we might call throat breathing. This is Ujjayi. So keep doing that, and as you inhale that Ujjayi breath, just feel the breath rising, really expanding through the lungs, and you'll find with some good practice that you can really pull in a lot of breath. Same exhale, that kind of push, almost a forced press of the breath out. And as you exhale, engage your core, drawing belly in towards your spine. Another part of the core conditioning practice is the feeling of what's called Uddiyana Bandha, or the abdominal lock. And we do that with this breath. Again, breathing in, Ujjayi. Fill up your lungs. Exhale, mouth closed, belly in. 2 more times like that. So that's the breathing effort that we'll come back to as we get more into our core conditioning. Let's add some movement. Let's inhale and extend the arms into the air. We'll just do this about 3 or 4 times. Reaching up. And exhale, extend your arms out, reaching across the room and back down by your side. And as you're able, continue to breathe with that Ujjayi style. Filling yourself up as you reach up into the air. Exhaling, continue to engage your core system. Breathing, using the muscles of your throat to activate the action of moving breath, knowing that the air is moving in and out through your nose. So let's just go ahead and take 1 more breath in and out. Very nice. Alrighty. I'm just going to turn to my side here. We'll just continue. Best as you can, even if I don't cue it, see if you can continue with that Ujjayi breathing. Let's take our seated back bend. Bring your hands behind you, fingertips just on the floor back here, with your arms back here. Draws the shoulders back, opens up through the chest, and even just tip your chin up just a little bit, just to create a little bit more space. Lots of space in your heart and also space in your throat, helping to maybe energize that Ujjayi. Here we go. We're going to inhale. Fill it all up. Exhale, draw belly in. Again. And maybe 3 more breaths like this. As you inhale, breath is rising, filling up your lungs. As you exhale, draw belly in, and even just a little bit more effort, squeezing the shoulder blades together behind you. Another breath in, some effort of pressing into the ground with your fingers. Feel the energy in your arms. Fill up your lungs. Exhale. Go ahead and lower your chin. Walk your hands toward yourself, sitting up nice and tall, hands in your lap. And just come to stillness and just take 1 more Ujjayi breath. Good. Let's uncross the legs here and reposition them so that we're in cobbler's pose or bound angle pose. And we'll take our forward fold. Just hold on to your ankles or shins. Again, an inhale, feel the lengthening of the spine, breath rising, filling up your lungs. Exhaling, draw belly in and start to hinge forward. And as you're able, lead with your heart and your chin. And just a little bit forward. See how I've kind of leaned forward here, keeping the extended spine. Let's do that again. Inhale, feel that nice lifting and lengthening through the spine. Fill up your lungs. Exhale, draw belly in, and as you're able, maybe hinging a little bit more, just until you feel a little light stretch in the inner legs. You can certainly lower your chin and even round your spine a little bit. It creates a little bit more space, so you could go down a little deeper. A reminder that in our soft flow practice, we don't go too deeply into our poses. We only work at about 60 to 70% with our postures so that you can hold them for a good period of time but without stressing the body. 2 more breaths. You can still practice Ujjayi, that victorious, vibrant, energetic breathing. And when we're complete, just tip the chin up a little bit to feel the re-extension of your spine. And then hinge your way up. Feel free to use your hands pressing into the mat to help guide your way up until you're nice and tall in your seat. Come to stillness and just take a breath. All right, let's reposition ourselves. So we're on our hands and knees. Here's where you might want to use your blanket. I'm going to unfold mine. I have a big rectangle here on my mat here, lots of space, which is nice. And just come to this tabletop position. And we're moving with breath. So an inhale to tip the chin up, feel the heart lead forward, creates an arch in the back like a back bend, and tipping the pelvis back. That's our cow pose. It's an inhale. Exhale, pulling the belly button up towards spine, tipping the pelvis under, rounded spine, chin to chest. And just continue with this nice undulation. Tip the pelvis back, feel the belly drop, creates the back bend. The inhale, filling up the lungs, tip the chin up. Exhale, tuck tailbone under. Belly button pulling up towards spine in this case. Feel that curvature of the spine, chin to chest. Now remember this movement because we're going to repeat it, but we'll be in a different position. Alrighty, so remember the arching of the back in cow pose as you inhale, and the exhale, the rounding of the spine, but more importantly, the belly button pulling up towards spine. All right, go ahead and finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. And when you're complete, just come to a neutral tabletop position and just pause there for a moment. And of course, just taking 1 more breath. All right, let's get set up for our downward facing dog. Won't need the pad here. I'm just going to set it to the side. Come back to hands and knees. Let's set ourselves up. You might want to step your hands forward a little bit on your mat, spreading out your fingers so you get a nice stretch between each finger. And then kind of lean into the hands or press them firmly down into the mat, flattening the palms, which kind of opens the palms. Also notice the straight, strong arms. Now tuck your toes. We'll take another breath here, repeating cat and cow. Starting with cow with the in-breath. Exhale, round it out into cat. Pull belly button up towards spine. See if you can hold this position for a second. Keep breathing. Lifting your knees and lifting your hips into the air. You might need to tiptoe forward, even adjust your hands so you feel pretty secure in your pose. So you won't feel like you're going to slip at all. While in this upside down V shape, you're going to bend the knees, allowing the hips to lift up nice and high, creating a nice long straight line through the torso. Be sure your hands are pressing firmly into the mat. Strong straight arms. Your arms feel like they're squeezing in a little bit towards your ears. Make sure your head feels relaxed here. Okay, we're going to step forward just enough until your feet are flat on the mat. That might just be the center of your mat right here. And then just slide your fingers towards your toes. For a moment, you'll be in a nice, deep, standing forward fold. We're going to rise up. You'll inhale, slide your hands up to your shins, your knees, and extend your spine. So we're just here in this flat tabletop position. This is half forward fold. Keep breathing. Still using that Ujjayi fashion. Inhaling to feel long, but also filling up the lungs. Use the muscles of your throat. Exhale. Air moving throughout out the nose, but using the throat muscles. Belly button pulling up towards spine, engaging the abdominal lock. Now let's stand. Shifting weight into the heels. Bend your knees. Even feel like you're sitting down, lifting the chest. You'll be at an angle, but your back is still flat. Spread your wings, taking the arms out to the side, and stand up nice and tall. Reach into the air. A nice stretch here at the top, and exhale. Bring your arms down by your side. Good. Some circles with the shoulders here. Roll them backward a few times, maybe forward a few times. Even a little circle in the wrists there. All right, let's do our half salute to the sun. That's just a forward fold, and we're coming right back up. Take your time moving at your own pace. Let's inhale. Take the arms up, reaching, big stretch. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, and sit back into your imaginary chair. Now, you don't have to go all the way down. Maybe your hands land at your shins. That's what I'll do right now. Your head may lower a little bit. Okay, so this is our forward fold. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs, maybe to your knees, extending your spine so you're flat like a table. Let's hold here on the exhale. Each breath, each inhale, feeling longer, filling up the lungs. Exhaling, engaging the abdominal lock, pulling belly button up towards spine since we're at this angle. Shifting weight into the heels, bend your knees, lifting the chest. Once again, spread your wings, a nice in-breath, taking you all the way up to standing, reaching into the air, extended mountain pose. Exhale, arms return to your side. Excellent. All right, another little roll of the shoulders. All right, we like to do a version of Warrior One just to get into a sense of balance and lunging and leg work. So standing near the top of your mat, just follow me. Put a little bend in the knees, just softening the knees a little bit, shifting your weight into your right foot, press firmly into the ground, feel solid, feel tall at the top at the same time. Exhale, draw belly in to secure yourself. You might even lean forward just a bit, feeling your toes, your right foot, your toes grip the mat. We're picking up the left foot and just tapping it back, just like this. Okay, kind of like you're stepping back, heel lifted, toes flexed. Okay, just as far as it just goes, all right? You don't have to force that. Then turn the leg outward, pivot so the heel presses into the floor. So the leg turned out, you can see my toes are kind of pointing out at an angle. So this is our lunge with a little bend of the right knee. Be sure the right knee is pointing directly forward. Place your hands on your hips. You're going to push pelvis down at the same time. Feel tall and lifted. Another Ujjayi inhale. Filling up the lungs. Exhale, draw belly in, and then a little turn the face forward. Another breath in, now extending arms up into the air. And this exhale, bend elbows to about 90 degrees. So this is our variation of a Warrior One, just standing in a lunge fashion, just one foot in front of the other. But you can tell and feel that there's not a lot of distance between the feet, and that's on purpose. The second time we get to this, it'll feel a little different. Let's inhale, extend the arms up into the air. Exhale, bring the arms down. Go ahead and place them on your hips again. We're going to lean forward and put some weight and pressure into this front foot so you can pick up that back foot and step together. We'll inhale to align the body by taking both arms up into the air. Exhale, arms return to your side. And if you like, you can shake that out. Let's do the other side. Make sure there's some softness in your knees. Shifting weight now into your left foot. Press. Feel the leg muscles engage. Feel tall and well lengthened through the spine. Exhaling to engage your core. Leaning forward a little bit so we can tap this right foot back until it just naturally stops. Heel lifted, toes flexed. Turn the right leg out. Pivot, plant the heel into the floor. There's our lunge. Left knee bent, pointing forward. Hands on hips, push down. And at the same time, with your Ujjayi inhale, lifting and lengthening through the torso. Exhale, draw belly in, the abdominal lock, turning forward. Inhale, let's take the arms all the way up. Exhale, bend elbows to 90 degrees. Again, our variation of a Warrior One. A couple of breaths. And continue. Let's inhale, shoot the arms straight up into the air. Exhale, bring the arms down. Bring hands to hips. Let's lean forward so we can put some weight into this front foot. Picking up the right foot, bringing them together, and your inhale, taking the arms up into the sky. Exhale, arms return to your side. Alrighty, another roll of the shoulders. Now before we get into our full sun salutation, let's add a twist, okay, while we're standing. So twisting is actually some core work. It really kind of gets into the side bodies and the obliques, part of that abdominal system. So for this, you might want to grab one of your yoga blocks if you happen to have one. Okay, it's okay if you don't, or maybe a small pillow. Alrighty. Again, it's okay if you don't have a prop to use. What you really want to feel in this case is feet are about hip distance apart, toes forward. Okay, nice straight line from hips right down to the heels and ankles. Now when we get into this chair pose first and then twist, we want to be sure that everything from the waistline down stays aligned, that it doesn't shift. Okay, so squeezing or holding on to a prop between the thighs helps with that. Here we go. We're going to inhale, take the arms up. I'm just going to turn this way for a moment. Exhale, take your chair pose. You don't have to sit down too deeply, and I'm not going to. And you can go ahead and bring your hands to heart center. You can certainly sit back and down deeper if you want to, but staying up a little higher is just fine. So this is our chair pose, and we're going to twist. I'm going to face you again. Now as we inhale, we want to still feel that nice extension through the spine. Fill up the lungs, Ujjayi, inhale. Exhale, squeeze your block if you have one. Pull belly in. We're going to twist to the right, just a little bit. Okay, just a little turn. Now we want to be sure that, again, hips all the way down to the feet, nothing moved. It's just an upper body rotation. The image I usually use here, a couple of images. One of them is like having a bottle, okay, with a cap on it, a screw cap. Let's say it's a bottle of soda. And you're holding onto the bottle, and it's staying still, and you're just twisting the cap. That's exactly what's happening here. The bottom half, or the bottle itself, is your lower half. The top portion here is the bottle cap. Breathing in. Exhale, let's unwind. Placing hands on thighs. Push into the thighs just to help you to assist a standing position. Reaching into the air to stretch. Exhale, arms return to your side. Alrighty. Now again, squeezing the block just reminds you of your center, but also stabilizes the hips so that you can create that bottle and cap image. All right, other side. Inhale, extend the arms straight up. Exhale, take your chair pose, high or low. Bring hands to heart center. We're breathing in. Exhale, draw belly in, squeeze your block, and then a mild twist to your left. Okay? And you don't have to go too deeply into the posture. This, remember, we're working at 60 to 70% in our soft flow practice. So you don't have to sit down too deeply, nor do you have to rotate too far. That's allowing us to maybe hold this for a longer period of time. And that's exactly what we're doing. And things are working. One, you're getting a hip opener because they're stable and trying to hold you in place as you rotate, okay? And of course, the obliques are at work here to helping you hold the rotation. All right, ready to move. Breathe in. Exhale, unwind. Hands on thighs. Push, stand. Let's take the arms all the way up. Big stretch. Exhale, arms return to your side. All right, we can go ahead and remove the block. We're done with that for now. Now we can get into some sun salutations. Just a quick adjustment of my mat here. So we'll come to the top of your mat and we're ready to go. A nice Ujjayi inhale. Exhale, swan dive. Spread your wings, bend your knees, and sit back into the imaginary chair, just passing through that chair pose we just did. And your hands maybe come down to your toes, or maybe just your shins or ankles. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs. Let's re-extend the spine to that flat back. Exhale, we're going back down. Keep bending your knees. Let the back round. Lower your head until your hands can come to the floor. Put weight into the hands so you can step the feet back, both feet, to the back end of your mat until we can draw a straight line in the body like so. This is plank pose. This is not only upper body work, but it's also core work. Next exhale, just pull your belly button up towards spine and even use that sensation to bend your knees and send your hips up into the air. It's an exhale that guides you into that posture. So a little core work just to get you into this upside down position. Let's continue. Let's inhale and pick up the right foot and extend the right leg back. Exhale, bend this right knee and bring the right knee in underneath you towards your chest. At the same time, shifting your whole upper body forward so your shoulders are over your wrists. And just set the right set of toes down onto the floor. And then set your left knee onto the floor. We're pulling the weight away from the hands so we can go get the right foot. I'm actually picking it up and placing it up higher on the mat. We're going for that second version of Warrior One. Relift your left knee, turn the left heel to the floor. I like to step the hands back. I'm really shifting my body weight back to put more weight into that back foot. Rising to fingertips to help extend the spine so it's long and extend it out over the right thigh. Now I'm ready to stand. And inhale, strongly lifting, reaching into the air. That's the inhale. Exhale, just lunge, just kind of hold the posture just so you can feel the arrival of the second version of Warrior One, which probably feels a little different from the first version. Okay, breathing in. Exhale, turn your torso towards the left side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Now you might need to adjust the feet. I typically adjust my back foot, just turning the foot out so my knee feels good, okay, in this position. Alrighty. Now, since we're doing core conditioning, we usually do a side angle pose here, but we're going to do a variation of the posture. I call it Victorious Warrior. So follow me. You're going to reach forward with the right arm, hold right here. So the right hand will stay just like this. You're going to bring your left hand up and over like so. Right there. Then turn your palms so they're facing each other. And imagine maybe you're holding onto a big beach ball. And it kind of forms this V shape with the body. Then just extend, reach out. So it is a variation of side angle. This is side angle with the arm down. This is what I call Victorious Warrior, and it's really working your core. Okay? You're at an angle, arms are up and away, you're breathing, muscles are flexing. Okay, let's come back up to a Warrior Two. Relax your arms, turn to face forward. I like to put the arms out front, inhale here, and exhale, we're just going to fold. Bring the hands down to the mat, rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. It's a nice lunge effect. Press hands into the floor, slide the right foot back, plank pose. Take one breath in. Listen, we're going to exhale and just bring the knees to the floor because we're going to hold this posture just a little bit longer. Okay? So it's plank pose with a variation. We just brought the knees to the floor. If you'd like, you can certainly stay on your toes. Okay? But if you want to bring the knees down, please do so. And just practice some breathing. Same Ujjayi breath. An inhale to fill up the lungs, using the muscles of your throat. Exhale, pull belly button in towards spine, engaging the abdominal lock. One more. This can be a little tiring on the arms and hands, that's for sure. So we'll rest. If you are on your toes, bring the knees to the floor, tuck your toes, kind of sit back into what I call half hero, just so you can get off the hands. If you need to kind of give your shoulders a bit of relief, please do so, and same with your wrists. Maybe a little circling of the hands, and I like to also do this little counter stretch for the wrists. Right here, I'm just doing a very soft pulse of the tops of my hands on the mat, okay? And then we'll do the same sequence on the other side. Let's plant the hands out front. Be sure to spread out your fingers. Press into the mat, strong arms. With an exhale, lift the knees, let the hips float up into the air. Make your adjustments so you don't slip. Then the other side. So an inhale to pick up the left foot, extend the left leg back. Exhale, bend the left knee, bring it in underneath you towards your chest or chin, shifting forward. This is core work too, because we're going so slow. Setting the left foot down on your toes, setting the right knee down. A lot of core stability because we move so slowly. Picking up the left foot, placing it up a little higher on the mat. There we are. Re-lifting the right knee. Pivot, right heel to the floor. Walk the hands back. Rising just a little bit so you can extend your spine. We'll inhale, hinge from hips, rising up. Exhale, hold. Facing forward. Okay, there is a slight twist in this posture. It's a little bit more core work. Okay, breathing in. Exhale, turn your torso towards the right side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Make any adjustments with the feet as you need to. Be sure this left knee is lunging and pointing directly forward. Let's move into our Victorious Warrior. I made up that name, okay? So we're shifting forward, reaching, hold here at this angle. Let's bring the right hand up and around. Let's turn the palms towards each other. Grab the imaginary beach ball. Keep extending, reach. Now the more of the angle you create, more sensation you'll create, okay? And we won't hold here very long. Even just for a few seconds, you're doing a lot of hard work here. Okay, we're going to come back up to our Warrior Two. You can relax the arms. turning forward. Take the arms out front, inhale, exhale, fold. Landing on the hands, rise up on the tiptoes behind you, there's our runner's lunge. Pressing hands into the floor, slide the left foot back, there's plank. Again, you can stay on your toes for a couple more seconds or bring knees to the floor for a couple more breaths for our core conditioning. Inhale, lengthening through the spine, fill up the lungs, feel the muscles of your throat. Exhale, pull belly in. That's the abdominal lock. One more. Alrighty, if you're on your toes, go ahead and bring knees to the floor. Tuck your toes. Let's just do our half hero again. Okay, relaxing, shaking out those shoulders a little bit. Okay, let's relieve the hands and wrists and fingers. Alrighty. Okay, so that's a little bit of an introduction to some core work. Breathing is the main key with a lot of this. All right, let's go ahead and take a seat. Okay, swing the legs around to the front, sitting in the center of your mat here. Grab your blocks or books so we can get ready for our bridge pose. Okay, but have them ready. Before we even lift up to bridge, we're going to do some more core work, alrighty? But be sure your blocks are handy. Go ahead and lie down. I'll try to explain this as best as I can, especially if you can't see me. But we're lying down, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Take a breath or two. Now, remember the cat and cow movement. When we're on our hands and knees and you're kind of arching the back. This is where we're going to repeat it, okay? So I'll try to explain. We're going to inhale and just arch your back. Now, this is all pelvic movement. When you rock the pelvis forward, you arch your back. I call this low bridge. Now, your bottom is still touching the floor, but your low back has lifted away from the floor. Okay, think of cow pose when you create the back bend. Inhale again, same space. Now, when you exhale, okay, pull the pelvis or tip the pelvis towards yourself and feel your low back press down into the floor. And that's kind of like the cat pose when you're rounding the spine, but mainly feeling the belly button pull towards your spine. That's what's happening here. Let's do it again. Inhale, arch the back. I sometimes call this low bridge. Exhale, press. Low back into the floor. And just keep that rocking sensation. That's the pelvis. The breathing is helping to activate the movement. And especially on that exhale where you're emptying the belly, you can feel the belly button pull down towards spine and you're engaging. Let's do that a few more times. I'm thinking as we do this, we should probably introduce this into just about every one of our soft flow practices, just that we have some core work in our soft flow practice. Alrighty, very nice. Now, let's get ready for our bridge pose. Here's what we'll do. Go ahead and inhale, arch your back, low bridge. Exhale, press low back down into the floor. Feel the engaged core. Grab your blocks or props, whatever you're using. Keeping the low back pressing into the floor. Exhaling, engaging more. Now lift your hips just high enough so you can slide your books or blocks underneath you and then sit. Alrighty? Now we're here. It's just a nice way to kind of prep yourself up for the bridge pose. We're kind of hollowing out the belly, engaging core, so you have the strength and stability to lift and get right into the back bend, really without pinching anywhere along the spine, especially the low back. Now we can just kind of relax here, breathing in and out in this mild supported back bend. Now, if we were doing this without the props, we would still be really engaging and could still using that breath work and that rocking of the pelvis a little bit to help engage in the center body. But since we're sitting on the props, we can just kind of let that system relax for a moment. Let's take 3 more breaths. When you're complete, alrighty, since we are still seated, but let's kind of activate a little bit. Okay, still sitting on the blocks, just inhale and imagine you were doing that same kind of that low bridge effect, little arching of the back. Exhale, trying to tuck the pelvis under as if you're pressing your low back into the floor. Engaging your belly, but lifting the hips off of your props, setting them to the side, and then lowering yourself down to the floor. Once you've made it down here safely, let's extend the body, extend the legs out front, reach your arms behind you for a nice stretch. We're going to move into boat pose. Now, boat pose is a wonderful core strengthening posture. And of course, since it's soft flow, we'll modify it. Okay, we're going to rise to seated. And what you may want to do is just bend your knees, perhaps just roll to one side, and then just press yourself up and come to your seated position, just like this. So this is how we'll set this up. And feel free to sit on something softer if you need to. Just slide a blanket or a towel underneath. And once you're here, you want to sit up tall, knees bent, heels on the floor, feet flexed, just like that. And then just hold on to I call these handlebars, just the bend in your knees. And use that as a way to sit up as tall as you can, like you're sitting in a straight back chair. Of course, that's an inhale. As you're able, exhale, engage your core, the abdominal lock, belly button pulling in towards spine. You'll feel that core engagement. Now, this is the modified version of our boat. We're going to stay lifted. That's an inhale. Exhale, draw belly in, but imagine you're sitting in a reclining chair and start to lean back just a little bit. Okay, doesn't have to be far, just at an angle. You can continue to hold on to your handlebars just like this. I'm not leaning back very far, but I can feel my front body activating, okay? Now what we'll do this for a few breaths, pause, take a little break, and then come back to it, okay? Again, we were working at 60 to 70%. Even though this is a modified variation of the posture, I can feel myself working at 70%. Okay, let's inhale, exhale, and then just soften. Basically, I'm just sitting up. You can even cross your legs here for a moment. And if you need to kind of let everything kind of relax, maybe just a simple forward fold. Okay, so your belly can relax, your back can relax here as well. Okay, as mentioned, boat pose or navasana is a very typical posture used to engage and strengthen your core. But it doesn't have to be much. And you notice we're just holding a seated position. You don't have to do a whole lot of, sit-ups and things like that to really work your core system. You can just hold, which is very strength building. Actually, you're building a lot of endurance strength by doing so. All right, let's do it again. So we're rising up, extending the legs, or at least keeping the knees bent, heels on the floor, feet flexed. Hold on to your handlebars. Let's inhale, extend the spine, sit up as tall as you can. Exhale, engage, and start to lean back. Again, you don't have to lean back very far, especially if you want to hold this. Really kind of, in a way, we are stressing out the muscles. But it's going to take longer to stress them because we're in a mild or, a moderate version of the posture. If we went right into the full version, which I'm not going to do, it would just wipe us out, okay, really too quickly for anything to really effectively work, okay? But in this fashion, the body gets used to holding strongly for that length of time. That's the endurance, okay? We're going to rest and do it one more time. We're going to add one little segment for the third time we do this. Okay, we're breathing in, exhale, and then soften. You can cross your legs. Feel free to, again, just fold, because that can be a bit of a stressor on the back, okay? And so this is just a nice counter pose, just to fold and get a little bit of a stretch. A couple more breaths here. Now, sometimes I would tell my students, if you don't have time to take a full yoga class, like this 1 hour, yoga practice, maybe you don't have time for a full class, but maybe you've got a few minutes. If that's the case, maybe choosing a pose, any pose, that you can do that would only take 2 or 3 minutes. If you're working on core strength and stability, you can do boat pose. All right, let's rise back up. Let's do our third variation. All right. Knees bent, heels on the floor, feet flexed. Sit up tall by holding onto your handlebars. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale, draw belly in to engage and support the body, leaning back just a little bit. I'm still holding on. What I'm doing with this holding on feeling is maintaining the lengthened spine, because it would be easy for me just to kind of melt like this. So I want to stay tall. I'm just leaning back with a straight spine. Here's the added bonus. If you want, just release. Free up the hands, reach forward. Okay, it's going to really allow the body to work a little bit more strongly here. 3 more breaths as you're able. You can rest and come to your completion at any time. One more breath. Exhale, release and relax. Same thing. Let's just cross legs and fold. Couple breaths here. We are going to go through another sun salutation just to get the body moving again. Okay. And then finish up on the floor. All right, I'm rising up. Let's just come to hands and knees. Let's get set up for for downward facing dog, but we'll do cat and cow to get there. Again, stepping the hands forward, spread out your fingers, press, strong arms. Here's cat and cow. It's that undulation of the spine again. Inhale, there's our low bridge. Exhale, round it out, engage your belly. Hold, tuck toes, lift knees. It's the engaged core that's helping the hips to float up into the air. Here we go. Inhale, pick up the right foot, extend the right leg back behind you. Exhale, bend the right knee, start to shift forward as you're able, setting the foot down a little bit closer up near right hand if you're able. Otherwise, do what we did earlier. Once you've got the foot where you want it, pivot, turn left heel to the floor, stepping back with the hands to get more weight into that back foot. Rise to fingertips, extend the spine long out over the thigh. Inhale, Ujjayi breath in to rise up. Reach into the sky, still moving. Exhale, turn torso towards left side of the room. Arms come down to parallel. Adjusting feet if you need to. I'm going to take my stance just a tiny bit wider, lunging a little bit deeper. Victorious warrior. Reach forward, keep right hand here, bring left hand up and around, spin palms so they're facing each other. Grab your imaginary beach ball and extend. Breathe in. Exhale, pull belly in. You might even feel kind of the sides working here, engaging. All right, we're going to come back up. Warrior 2, drop the arms, turn to face forward. Inhale just to lift the hands out front. Exhale, hinge, bringing hands to the floor. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Press into the hands, into the floor with your hands. Slide right foot back, plank. Hold for a second, inhale. Exhale, bend knees, send hips into the air, downward facing dog. Let's hold for a breath or two. So that was more continuous in our movements, and that's more of that vinyasa style or that flowing style. Okay, inhale and extend the left leg into the air. Exhale, bend the left knee, shifting forward as you're able, setting foot down closer to the left hand. Once you've got it where you want it, pivot, turn, right heel to the floor, put some weight into that foot, maybe stepping the hands back to help with that. It lifts the body so you can extend the spine. Inhale, hinge from hips, rising up, reaching into the air, still in motion. Exhale, turn torso towards the right side of the room, arms to parallel, adjust the feet, maybe a deeper lunge if you'd like. Victorious warrior. Reach out, doesn't have to go far, angled upper body. Rotate or just bring this right hand up. Palms face each other. Keep extending. That's an inhale. Stay here on the exhale. Pull belly in. You'll feel those side muscles engage. One more. Let's come back up to a warrior 2. Relax the arms. Face forward. Inhale, arms up to parallel. Exhale, fold. Hands to the mat. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Strong press into the ground with the hands sliding left foot back. Plank pose, adjust the body. See if you can take at least 2 breaths here. The exhales, we're still pulling belly button up towards spine. Working the core. Let's bring knees to the floor. Excellent work. Sitting back briefly in hero, then off to the side. Okay, so we can swing the legs around to the front. Excellent. Sitting in the center of your mat, go ahead and roll down onto your back. And maybe still have your blocks nearby, your props. We can still use those. Now, as you lie down, go ahead and bring knees to chest. Let's add some movement here. So in a way, this is kind of like that seated forward fold, where they gave you an opportunity to relax your belly, stretch your back. The same thing can happen here. Everything can kind of relax, get reconnected with your breath, a little stretch for the low back. Very nice. Now we can still do some core work here. And all we're going to do is just engage in 2 postures. One will be an inversion, and then the second will be a twist. These are things we've done before, alrighty, but just an emphasis now and some attention around core strengthening and core conditioning. Set the feet down, knees bent. Here's where you want to use your blocks again. So let's do what we did earlier. Okay, you're going to inhale, arch your back, low bridge, keeping your bottom on the floor. Exhale, pull pelvis towards self. Feel your low back press into the floor. Belly button drops down towards spine. Feel those muscles engaging. With that sensation, peel your hips off the floor. Slide your books or blocks underneath you. Sit. And then you can kind of come back to relaxation. Now I've got 2 blocks. They're kind of, they're not very thick, okay? They're kind of thin. So you can use any height here, because this is where we're going to do our inversion. While seated on your books, blocks, or even just a big cushion, extend the legs into the air. Now, how does this work core? Alrighty. Now it's kind of subtle, or what's another word for that? We're not actively engaging our core muscles to get the legs in the air. But imagine if you didn't have any abdominal muscles, you would not be able to extend the legs up into the air. It takes, those muscles, in addition to others, of course, to take the legs up into the air and hold them. So yes, this is, a version of core work. Just being upside down and being able to hold your legs up into the air like this. And sometimes we like to add a little movement. So I like to add some bicycle pedaling just to get into the joints and the knees and the hips a little bit. You can even circle the ankles, circle in one direction, then the other direction, and maybe wiggle your toes. So you don't have to keep the legs absolutely straight and stiff straight up in the air. Add some movement, especially this bicycle pedaling. Again, kind of a subtle effect of working your core, okay? So another exercise you could do, if you had a few minutes to spare and want to do some core work, go upside down. All right, let's go ahead and bring the feet down to the floor. Okay, so now we're in this bridge pose. To get out of it, let's still do that core engagement, okay? Inhale, as if you were doing the low bridge, even though you're already in a back bend, but imagine you're lying on the floor doing that low bridge. Exhale, imagine you're trying to press the low back into the floor with that pelvic tilt. Your belly will engage, notice that. And with that, lift the hips, move the books or blocks out of the way, and come back down to the earth. Softly landing. Here, bring knees to chest, just as we did earlier. And some movement. Alrighty. Okay, and now we'll do our spinal twist. Again, something we typically do in class, but now with the emphasis on the abdominal system. the obliques, the side bodies. And we're going to add a little segment that's not really yoga, okay? Okay, let's start by taking the knees over to the left side. You can certainly use props here underneath the legs or between the legs, just so you don't over-rotate, okay? Okay, so knees to the left, extend your right arm to the right initially, and just kind of settle into the pose. So we're in the twist, okay? You can stay just like this. But since we're doing a little core conditioning, we're going to add something, and again, it's not very yogic, but we'll throw it in anyway. And it's just a crunch, okay? A sit-up, but a very mild one, okay? So stay as you are. Bring the right hand underneath your head and just let your head rest heavily in your hand, okay? It's just resting there. Really, that's all the hand is doing, is just supporting the head and neck, okay? Because when we exhale next, we're going to lift the upper body, but using the obliques or your core to lift, okay? And try not to pull your head up with your hand, if that makes sense. Let's give it a try. Inhale. Exhale, engage your core and try to lift using your core, which may mean you may not lift very high, okay? My head is still just resting in my hand. I'm not trying to pull myself up. It's all core. And again, you don't have to lift very high. You probably didn't even notice notice me lifting. We're going to do that again. How about 5 total, 5 crunches at your own pace. I'm getting ready to do my second one. Exhale, first exhale, feel that kind of crunch, engaged core feeling, then lift. Because with the exhale, you're kind of shrinking muscles because they're contracting. So they're shrinking, getting smaller. Okay, so then you can lift. All right, go ahead and finish on your own. Again, just letting the head rest in the hand. Just continue to look straight up. That'll help as well. Okay, because sometimes we kind of pull or yank our heads up and we're trying to look forward, towards the front of the room. Very, very effective exercise. It may not seem like much, but if you want a strong core, this is the way to do it. When you're complete, let's come back to center. Maybe another hug of the knees in towards chest. And we'll do the other side. Those crunches are optional. You can just hold the twist. That's fine as well. When you're ready, let's take the knees over to the right side, using props as you'd like, so you don't over-rotate. Left arm initially extends out to the left side, just to settle into the twist. This always feels good for me, because my hips and low back tend to get tight just about all the time. Okay, I just happen to have tight hips and a stiff low back. So yoga really, really helps me. And this particular type of movement, this twist like this, helps me quite a bit. All right, left hand underneath head. Just let the head rest heavily in the hand. If you're going to do the crunches, do 5 on your own. Take your time. Inhale to fill up the lungs using the Ujjayi inhale. Begin the exhale first, engaging the core system. Feel the muscles contract and shrink, then lift. I'm barely lifting an inch off the floor. You might hold for a second and then come back down. Again. You're almost at the end of the exhale before you even start rising, okay? Because I think we can fall into the habit, like if you're just doing crunches, that you move right on the exhale. Try to exhale first, let those muscles do their thing, engaging and contracting, then lift. Almost done. And when you are complete, you can come back to center. You might want to stretch here, extending the legs out front, both arms behind you, reach and stretch. And we're finished. So you can just bring your arms down by your side. Let everything completely relax. The legs, your hips, your belly, okay? All of our core work that we just did. Maybe some nice deep breaths. cleansing breaths. Because a lot of engaging was happening through that practice. And then with that, sometimes we accidentally, not on purpose, sometimes we might hold the breath. So some deep cleansing breaths here. So fully release and relax. Again, you're welcome to keep your eyes open, or you can close your eyes. Allow yourself to completely relax and just melt into the earth. While in this relaxed state of mind and body, you can kind of let go of that ujjayi. There's still a slight effort in the breath, really just an awareness that you are breathing. What you really could do here is just slow down the pace of the ujjayi. I mentioned earlier that ujjayi is victorious breath or energetic breath. It brings energy to the body, but it also can calm and relax. And that's really because of the pace of the breath. If you take nice, slow, deep, expansive inhales and slow, long, complete exhales, it has a nice calming effect. Stay here as long as you'd like and just nourish the body in this relaxed state of mind and body. Even as I end the practice, you can just stay just as you are, lying on your back, breathing slowly and gently. When it's time to move, direct your attention back to the breath. You might take 5 slow, deep breaths. And here you could return to that full, rich ujjayi breath. One thing about ujjayi, it has that sound. That's the muscles of the throat, that oceanic sound. Also very calming. As you're breathing in and out, just feel movement return to the body. And the energy return. When you're ready, moving as slowly as you can, just roll to one side of your body. I start by bending the knees, feet flat on the floor, and using that to help roll to one side, holding briefly in this nurturing pose. Continue to move in slow motion. Use your hands and a new breath to help guide your way up to seated. Here you might want to sit on a prop, might be a block or a blanket or your pillow. Maybe crossing the legs, sitting up as tall as you can, settling in. Take a breath. And then one last movement together. Inhale, extend your arms into the air. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste. Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.